Welcome, Chunk and Run listeners, back to another Chunk and Run podcast. As always, I'm your host, Zane Smith, and with me is my co-host, Zachary Smith. Zach, how are we doing tonight?
It's been hot.
It has. It is
very hot lately.
It is a simmering in GA, isn't it?
It's too hot.
It's way hotter.
I want it to be like 30 below tomorrow. Like, honestly, I'd be happy with that.
Nah, I think you're deliberately exaggerating.
No.
Yeah,
it's too hot.
You're being a little
Someone needs to turn on the air conditioning because it's too hot.
You're being an exaggerator. You're being an exaggerator. Alright, so Zach, we got a lot of kind of news to cover. Alright, got a lot of news to cover today. As everybody knows, comment who you think will win the U.S. Open. There's a lot of people looking at Jordan Spieth, which is a weird choice, seeing as he's actually got a stomach bug as of today. So we'll monitor that situation for sure. We'll see how well he does. He's trending on Twitter, but we'll see what happens with him. As far as Zach, who you like, who are you looking at this week?
Well, Zane, I'm glad you asked. So, a website called BeerlySports.com put out an interesting little article on the U.S. Open. By the numbers, who is most likely to win? So, there's a couple different statistics that it goes into, but the two main ones. So, the two main ones are the two highest correlating factors to winning in the U.S. Open. Strokes gained approach and strokes gained putting. Now, obviously, another big one is strokes gained around the green and bogey avoidance. Okay, so if you look at those statistics, you get to see an idea of who's going to be very, very good in the U.S. Open. So, number one on that list, Justin Thomas. Absolutely dominant in statistics. He's 6th on tour in strokes gained approach. He's top 40 on tour in strokes gained putting. He's 20th in strokes gained around the green, and he's number 1 at bogey avoidance, which is big in a U.S. Open.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have JT on top. Right behind him, you have Cam Smith, and then a surprising one based on these statistics. You have number 3 is Sam Burns, before being followed by Scheffler at number 4.
Now, are you taking into consideration here, though? Are you taking consideration like recent weeks over the entire year, or is it just the entire year?
It's over the year.
Okay, so that's my only problem with something like this is that obviously you have averages, but it really matters where their game is in the weeks leading up to the event. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree that people have strength no matter what.
Yeah.
However, like John Rahm, ball striking, right? We've seen that. We saw that down in Vedanta. We've seen that everywhere he goes. It seems like the courses he plays really, really well at are courses that favor ball striking.
Yeah, for sure.
Or put a premium on it.
Yeah, he's top 25 on tour.
Yeah, so I understand that. My problem with reading too much into something like that is just you want to put kind of a weight on weeks leading up to the event. The reason we liked John Rahm for winning Vedanta, I think you remember, was because he was playing well leading up to Vedanta. So, his numbers were there.
Well, and also it was a weaker field.
Yeah.
That was the big
particularly,
reason.
Right? So
but one of the reasons I don't like John Rahm in this event is two reasons. One, he's not making putts right now.
No. And if I'm not mistaken, what are his stats tee to green or off the tee, I should say.
Off the tee, that doesn't typically correlate to success in the U.S. Open.
Really?
By the statistics, it only accounts for 11%.
Interesting.
Yep, so the biggest two.
Even with the rough, the way they grow it, the thin fairways.
Yep.
That's surprising.
It was surprising to me as well. But when you look at statistically, strokes gained approach and strokes gained putting are the top two. So you have 44% correlation with strokes gained approach, and then around 24%.
Do you think
or
that
22%?
Do you think that has more to do with the fact that scrambling is where people make up those shots?
Yeah, and so again, that's why strokes gained around the green is the third best statistics, and then if you're looking at the fourth best, it's bogey avoidance, which has to do with scrambling as well.
Yeah.
So people that because this is a show where we do DraftKings, we do betting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a couple tips to our listeners on people to avoid. Good players that maybe aren't best suited for the U.S. Open. So number one person to avoid, and this is going to shock a lot of people, is Colin Morikawa.
I actually agree with that.
He has not been putting well this season, and he has not been chipping well this season. He's been terrible around the greens. And if you can't get it done around the greens, you're not going to win a U.S. Open.
No.
Number two, Victor Hovland, for
the same reasons.
Pretty much the same reasons. It comes more in with the chipping with Victor Hovland. It does the putting. He's still a top 30 guy on tour putting. But he has been, I think he is the worst player on tour in strokes gained around the green.
That's wild, isn't it?
And he's the top 10 player.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that just goes to show that some of the courses they play, he really makes up for it with his driving distance.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of overpowers some things.
Yeah, and he's a great ball striker.
He is a good ball striker as well.
But he's also pretty bad at bogey avoidance. He's 59th on tour in bogey avoidance. So if you're looking for a top-end guy to look for in DraftKings, probably not him. And then the big shocker to me is a guy that's played very well. He's finished, I believe he finished top 5 in both the majors so far this year. But in this U.S. Open, I don't think he's going to finish top 30. Mm-hmm. And that is Will Zalatoris.
I actually agree with that, too.
He has not been putting well.
No, and if you even when you even when you saw him at the PGA,
yeah,
everybody pointed out. Well, not everybody, but there were several people that pointed out whenever you slowed down the view of him on the practice green versus him on the like was it 17th or 18th hole?
Yeah,
there was a little yip there.
Yeah, he's there.
It was noticeable.
Yeah.
It was. There was a little bit of a pop.
Yeah. That
there wasn't during the practice green. And I wonder if maybe nerves, whenever he's in those situations, gets to him.
Yeah.
Now, he's a great player. I'm not taking anything away from him. Dude hits bombs off the tee for his size, and he hits some great shots into greens. My issue is whenever you have that putt, and this is the thing in the U.S. Open, whenever you have that putt that matters more than life itself, can you make it? And the answer with Will seems to be he's a bit shaky on the subject.
Yeah. So those are some guys I would avoid. All great players, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, those are pretty much household names at this point, but guys I would avoid just simply because with the way that they've played this season, they're not best suited for U.S. Open golf. I even said it in the article. I gave praise to Colin Morikawa and Will Zalatoris, but when you break them down, Will Zalatoris is 160th on tour in strokes gained putting. Yeah. And Colin Morikawa is 127th. Even though they both finish in that top 5 on the list that I have for strokes gained approach to the green, they are way down the list when it comes to strokes gained putting.
Well, and this is the thing that I noticed whenever I was picking my DraftKings later today, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I picked Rory McIlroy. And the reason I picked him is because whereas historically not the best putter, right? However, in the last few events, his strokes gained has been much higher.
Yeah, he's
putting.
So he's one of the better guys on the list. I think he's a top 5 guy on the list. 31st on tour in putting, 21st on tour in strokes gained approach. Yeah. So obviously pretty good at both of those. And he doesn't really have a statistic out of the ones I named that he's really bad at. 17th on tour and around the green, 31st on tour in bogey avoidance. So he's still very, very top echelon.
Yeah, and he's coming off a win. And usually Rory, whenever he hits the Jets, now it doesn't always happen like this, but whenever he wins or starts winning, you can bet he's going to play well. I'm not saying he's going to win this event, but you can bet he's going to play well.
Well, we'll be able to tell if he's in it or not, whether or not, like if we can get a picture of whether his shirt's ripped after the round in round 1.
Yeah, that's true. Round 1, if you catch a ripped shirt by Rory, he's not going to play well.
He's not happy.
But anyway, so yeah, we've got some more news here real quick with the obviously LIV Golf. Pronouncing it correctly today, Zach.
Woo!
So LIV Golf, by the way, congrats to Rory McIlroy. I know I said something on Twitter about him. Not super mean, but just, and we'll get to it today, actually, what I said. But, congratulations to him. He won the RBC. There was actually more people in the field than I recognized at first that were playing, and especially in that final grouping. And it wasn't as weak of a field as it has been in years past. Historically, RBC Canadian Open has not been the most
I will say this. So
event.
The RBC Canadian Open, I think we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't, the top end of the field was good. It was the bottom half where you didn't have those guys that are there week in, week out.
Mm-hmm.
So you still had the top end of the field there, but it wasn't as competitive on the bottom half of the field.
Well, a lot of it was taken, and not to agree with some of the GME, the golf media establishment, it was taken away from a little bit by the LIV Golf, obviously. Some of those players, if LIV Golf had not been around, they would have probably played in that event.
Yeah, but
not all of them, just some of them.
Yeah, but you're still missing guys like that didn't play in LIV Golf. Like Russell Henley wasn't there.
We'll get into it.
Danny McCarthy wasn't there.
We'll
He's
get
been
into
playing good.
So there were a few people that names dropped between last time we talked with you guys and this week.
Mm-hmm.
We got Patrick Reed joining the LIV Golf events. We've got Bryson DeChambeau joining the LIV Golf events. Some others. Zach, what do you think about this grow? And we're soon to hear about a few more names. People saying HV3, maybe. I can't remember some of the other names on the list, but it's pretty crazy what's going on right now. I mean, what do you think about the LIV Golf, and what do you think about after we watched this past week? Because we talked about it a little bit on the cut line. What do you think about what's going down with LIV Golf, and do you think they're gaining some traction?
I think it'd be hard to argue they're not. After their first event, signing more golfers is big. I know they announced Pat Perez signing on broadcast, and they had him on the broadcast the day he signed. So I think it's pretty clear that, yes, it is gaining traction. As much as I don't love Bryson DeChambeau, like I really don't like him all that much, he had a really good take on the whole LIV Golf thing, and that was basically someone asked him, do you ever want to play on the PGA Tour again or something like that? And he said, I would love to play on the PGA Tour again, but that decision's not up to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I showed you that tweet.
Yeah.
Pretty great tweet, honestly. It's one of the most, and we'll play it for you right here.
That's all there was to it. It's given me a lot more opportunity outside of the game of golf and giving me more time with my family and my future family. So for me, that was a decision.
Was the business decision basically money driven? Is that what you're talking about?
There was a lot of financials to it and a lot of time as well. So I get to have a life outside of the game of golf as well.
You want to play on the PGA Tour again?
I would love to. It would be an honor.
If you made a business decision that gives you more free time, why do you want to play on the PGA Tour?
Because I want to play where people can see entertainment, great entertainment. I'm going to deliver that anywhere I'm at.
Are you concerned about your legacy with this move?
I think we'll have a new legacy.
What do you think that'll be?
Whatever it is.
There is a real possibility you could not play on the PGA Tour ever again. Have you settled that with yourself? Are you
It's
okay?
not my decision to make.
I love that.
But if that happens,
that's not my decision to make. That's someone else's decision that's making that for me. I would love to play the Memorial. I would love to play Arnold Palmer. I would love to play PGA Tour events when they would allow me to.
So that was a great answer. So, and people, it's so funny in the replies.
Yeah.
You saw people like saying, "Oh, he looks so uncomfortable." It's like, yes, because the journalist is making that situation uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The worst take that I've heard in a while, okay, is that you can tell who's on the moral high ground by the way the people on the PGA Tour are reacting versus the people on the LIV Golf thing are reacting.
Is that a tweet from Brandel Chambly? Because it sounds like
it might be, because no, it's not, because I wouldn't be able to see it if that's the case. But here's the problem with that. It's like, of course they look. You're putting them. Yeah. You're the ones that are asking them questions in such a way that is hostile.
Yeah.
There is hostility in the questions you're asking.
Like, what is going to be your legacy now that you've thrown
like
it
if
away?
Hitler had a golf tournament.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of deal. It's like, what? Like, that's why you get Ian Poulter and Lee Westwood going, I'm not going to answer hypotheticals, because you're throwing out these nonsense things.
You're throwing out these questions that are deliberately designed to make a player uncomfortable.
Yep.
And so if a player doesn't want to answer your dumb question, they're well within their right to do that.
And nobody's calling it. This is the worst part. Nobody's calling out PGA Tour China. Is a China-based men's professional golf tour as part of PGA Tour's global expansion.
Yeah.
No one's calling out the Dubai, the DP World Tour. Nobody's calling out any of these other guys. And then you get Rory. Okay, and this is my tweet on Rory. Rory said, and this is a quote from Dan Rappaport. So Rappaport obviously got this from the guy interviewing Rory McIlroy. He said, last week in Canada, ellipses, LIV will never have that. Last week meant something. What they were doing over there meant nothing. End quote. And and this is my tweet, I said, wow, Rory is earning my disrespect at this point. Because the thing is, when is the last time the RBC Canadian Open has actually meant something? When? Like, this past week was definitely an anomaly, because you had several top-tier guys playing there. I remember back when the RBC Canadian Open didn't have anybody playing it because people were getting ready for the US Open or getting ready for a major, right? That's why that they haven't had historically the better fields.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same reason you get the Scottish Open right before the British Open that does the same thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? People are getting their game in gear. They've already played in enough tournaments. They say, I'm going to skip this week, get my game in check, and then I'm going to go to the major. Right?
Yeah.
So Rory saying that, this is why I disagree with the whole narrative that Rory is this philosopher thinker. I think that's crazy. I think it's crazy to think that he's some kind of stoic individual.
Or that he's a deep thinker.
Or that he's a deep thinker at all. This is not deep at all. And there have been people that have talked deep. My favorite thing this week that was on the PGA side, because I'm trying to be fair. I don't want to bash the PGA unfairly.
Yeah.
They're doing it to themselves in a lot of these cases. But there was this video that I saw from John Rahm. Yeah. John Rahm had a great answer. This is probably the most well-articulated answer I've heard from any PGA advocate, PGA Tour advocate. And we're going to play.
Is it better than Justin's last week?
It's way better than Justin's.
Okay.
Well, it might not be. You listen.
Okay.
You listen, you tell me.
I do see the appeal that other people see towards the LIV Golf. I do see some of the, I put this delicately, points or arguments they can make towards why they prefer it. To be honest, part of the format is not really appealing to me. Shotgun 3 days to me is not a golf tournament, no cut. It's that simple. I want to play against the best in the world in a format that's been going on for hundreds of years, right? So that's what I want to see. And yeah, money is great, but when Kelly and I, this first thing happened, we started talking about it. We're like, will our lifestyle change if I got 400 million? No, it will not change one bit. Truth be told, I could retire right now with what I've made and not live a very happy life and not play golf again. So I've never really played the game of golf for monetary reasons. I play for the love of the game, and I want to play against the best in the world. I've always been interested in history and legacy, and right now the PGA Tour has that. There's a meaning when you win the Memorial Championship. There's a meaning when you win Arnold Palmer's event at Bay Hill. There's a meaning when you win LA, Torrey, some of these historic venues, and that to me matters a lot, right? I have, after winning this past U.S. Open, only me and Tiger have won at Torrey Pines, and we're both the golf course that we like, making putts on the 18th hole, right? That's a memory I'm going to have forever that not many people can say. So my heart is with the PGA Tour. That's all I can say. It's not my business or my character to judge anybody who thinks otherwise. And for a lot of people, I'm not going to lie, those next 3-4 years are worth basically their retirement plan they're giving them. It's a very nice compensation to then retire and sail off to the sunset.
That was extremely respectful.
Yeah.
Of the others that have decided to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Of the people who have taken the opportunity, like James Pyatt, who it would have taken him a lot longer to get on the PGA Tour.
Yep.
To be able to make money on the LIV Golf.
Yeah.
Other people, Sam Horsfield, being able to go on to LIV Golf, being able to make a lot of money.
He's been doing the European Tour, but he hadn't really gotten a shot on the PGA Tour yet.
No.
He's been over here for 1 or 2 majors, I think, but I mean, he's a 3-time winner on the European Tour, and he hasn't played in like any PGA Tour event.
Yep.
So, but just to go back on your point about the RBC Canadian Open, we're going to go back to 2008, and I'm going to tell you some of the winners and some of the runner-ups. So in 2008, you had Ches Reavie, the runner-up, everyone's favorite, Billy Mayfair. 2009, Nathan Green, everyone knows and loves him. Runner-up, Retief Goosen, lost in a playoff.
Keep going, I got it.
2010, Carl Pedersen, runner-up, Dean Wilson. Everyone's favorite player, Dean Wilson. 2011, Sean O'Hare won in a playoff over Chris Blanks, another favorite of the show, who everyone loves, Hall of Famer. 2012, we have Scott Percy over Robert Garrigus and William McGirt. Again, all these famous golfers all over the place. 2013, we have Brandt Snedeker. There's a name you've heard of. Next to a couple names you haven't. Jason Bone, William McGirt, and then finally some names you have. Dustin Johnson and Matt Kuchar, all tied behind Brandt Snedeker.
A lot of top 10s being named right now. A lot of top 10s.
2014, Tim Clark beat out Jim Furyk by a single shot. Then you start to get more recent memory. You have Jason Day over Bubba Watson, 2015. 2016, Jonathan Vegas over Dustin Johnson and Martin Laird. 2017, Jonathan Vegas over Charlie Hoffman, so he repeated. Dustin Johnson won by 3 shots in 2018 over Byung-Hoon An. Benny On. And Wee Kim. That's a great name. Sorry. Then you had 2019, Rory McIlroy over Shane Lowry and Webb Simpson. And then this year, Tony Finau losing by 2 shots to Rory.
Mm-hmm.
So, historically, how big is this tournament really?
The answer's not very big.
This tournament has had some big names win it. You had Tiger Woods in 2000. Greg Norman in 1992. Wait, sorry. Greg Norman doesn't exist anymore on the PGA Tour. Nick Price in 91. I don't know. You've had good players win this event, but if you look at the guys around him, it's nobody. The runners-up, all people you've never heard of or have barely heard of. Mike Weir, Neil Lancaster.
To be fair, Mike Weir was playing well.
Yeah, for a time he was. But is that like a guy you look at as like
historic? No.
Bob Lohr.
Yeah.
How about that guy?
No. All right, we get it.
But my point's been made. Saying that that LIV Golf will never have that for a tournament that has gotten big since 2015.
Bigger.
It's gotten bigger, yes. Because, again, like we said...
Because golf's growing.
Golf's growing.
Surprise.
And it's been a tournament that also we haven't had in 2 years. 2020 and 2021, they were canceled for COVID. So, I think that's a ridiculous statement from Rory.
So, and then we're just going to go through a few more, we're going to go through a couple more, opinions. So, Brooks Koepka is on the same level me and you are right now, which is, we aren't fans of Koepka. Well, I mean, you are, right?
I'm a big fan of Koepka.
All right, so I'm not a huge fan of Koepka. I don't hate him. I just don't know why he had to decide to be the real Slim Shady. So,
because he got to stand
he
up. Bro.
had the tenacity to stand up to the GME, and this is the exchange he had with the reporters at the U.S. Open press conference.
Dude,
I'm ready to play U.S. Open. So, and I think it kind of sucks too. Y'all are throwing this black cloud over the U.S. Open, and I mean it's one of my favorite events, and I don't know why you guys keep doing that, but more legs you give it, the more you keep talking about it.
Well, then sorry to ask another question about it, but not sorry enough not to do that. In some ways, it seems like they're offering something that would appeal to you. You're a guy who, really gets up for the majors, really loves the majors. At the moment, it seems like it would be an opportunity to play less in between the majors and still play the majors. What is that attractive to you, or do you prefer your current setup?
I mean, I can come out here and play as little weeks as I want. I choose my own schedule regardless what tour I play. I'll come out here. I haven't played. I've played match play, Augusta, PGA, and this one, so I can play as little as I want.
Yeah.
I'm ready to play.
So that was Brooks Koepka.
I love that man.
But he's exactly right. Every single presser has been talking about. They open up with what's about LIV Golf.
LIV Golf.
Are you going to LIV Golf?
Isn't it this U.S. Open?
It's like
isn't this a U.S. Open? That's what Brooks Koepka basically just said. Aren't we at the U.S. Open? Why are we talking about LIV Golf? Can't we talk about do you like the course this week? Do you think it sets up well for your game? No, it's do you think LIV Golf would be a better fit for you? Are you a terrible person because you might think that way?
How do you feel about Reed moving to LIV Golf? How do you feel about it? Tell me, how do you feel about Brooksy moving over to LIV Golf? How do you feel about it?
He can't.
Tell me.
They can't ask
how did
that.
your
They can't say Brooksy.
How did your brother feel in his first LIV Golf event?
This is the U.S. Open, guys. Let's talk about the U.S. Open. You notice how Beerley hasn't dropped an article on LIV Golf. Beerley's dropped an article on the U.S. Open. It's our first golf article of all time.
It's because it's you.
Hey, listen. Beerley is Beerley.
And again, Rory just again earning my disrespect one thing at a time. He said this in the presser. This was the presser. He said, "My dad said to me a long time ago, once you make your bed, you lie in it."
Is that what he's doing with Nike?
Yeah, for real. The guy
when he sold his soul to Nike to play crappy clubs.
Yeah. And then just started playing crappy too.
And then wasted the best years of his career.
Yeah.
With Nikes.
Playing crappy clubs.
With a worse ball.
Without an out.
Yeah.
There was no out in the contract.
Yeah.
Like, if I start playing bad, I should be able to switch.
No.
No out, no nothing. He was stuck playing crappy clubs.
In the best years of his career. After he had that big breakout season.
Did right after.
Yeah. He signed that $200 million contract with Nike. Zay, where did Nike make their apparel? We're going to get into the moral quandaries of everything.
They make it in China. In China.
Okay.
I hear it's the best.
They make the best clothing.
They make the best.
Their sweatshops,
the
their children,
cheapest.
they love it. Okay?
It's the cheapest, okay?
That's not me saying it. That's just what people tell me.
But yeah. So this was a tweet I was telling you about earlier, and after this we'll go into our picks for the DraftKings. Want to keep it kind of short today. We got to be able to upload it rather quickly. I know we're coming in late here. Coming in hot.
I'm coming in hot.
So Sean Zach, who is he's a writer for Golf Magazine. He had this tweet. He said, quote, "One of my favorite differences between LIV and PGA Tour supporters their eloquence. Rahm, Rory, JT all able to go long with deep explanations. Mickelson, Poulter, Westwood all guarded, quick to shut down ideas, deflecting. And I replied, I said, don't you think that has more to do with the hostility the golf media has shown them with the leading questions and making them out to be these evil, greedy, bad men?
I couldn't have said it better than myself.
You're making them out. If you had asked Rory, how do you feel about Nike, having these sweatshops in China? He'd probably be a little guarded.
You know what he'd probably do? Probably the same thing LeBron James does whenever he's asked about who makes his shoes.
Yeah.
Where he deflects. He goes, I'm just trying to get my bag. Mm-hmm. What all of his supporters say, don't try and keep the man down. He's trying to get his bag.
And then when golfers do it, it's betrayal. You start using words like betrayal. Start using words like disloyal.
Yeah.
It's amazing. All these other sports are able to do what gets them gets them paid the big bucks. But whenever we go over to hit the flat stick, it's you gotta be loyal. Gotta be loyal to the PGA.
It's even worse than that because, like you said, they have PGA Tour China.
I know.
They have the DP World Tour. Who it's okay for guys to go play the DP World Tour. It's okay. Probably, I bet if Justin Thomas went tomorrow and said to the PGA Tour, "Hey, can I go play in this PGA Tour China event?"
Yep.
They'd be fine with it.
Yep.
But because it's LIV Golf, because it's Greg Norman, the moral equivalency thing, to me, like people
blows
like you can't.
My mind.
No, the moral outrage over LIV Golf without having the same moral outrage over PGA Tour China or over the DP World Tour is like astounding to me.
It's dumb.
It's really dumb.
And it's lazy is what it is. It's intellectually lazy.
Well, all it is
at least be like Jon Rahm. I mean, that's why I love Jon Rahm's answer. Jon Rahm gave the perfect answer to somebody who wants to back the PGA Tour. Mm-hmm. Gave the perfect answer. Didn't bash the people on LIV. Didn't bash the Saudis. Even though Saudis deserve a little bashing. Whenever Phil Mickelson said the thing about scary mother effers, shady MFers, we said that's probably something that should have been said.
Yeah, but no, he's gonna lose all his sponsorships over that. But no, they're still gonna castigate him as the worst person alive.
Yeah,
make that make sense.
I can't make it make sense. And we know why Phil's going to LIV Golf. We know it's for the money. We know that.
Honestly,
even though he said at first it wasn't about the money,
I actually don't think it was about the money. I think Phil was forced out.
Do you think so?
I think he was forced out. What?
I think Phil was having a little bit of money issues.
It's more than likely he probably was, but
because even though Alan Shipnick is a snake, I don't think he's all lying.
I don't think he is either. But the thing is when you look at the whole Phil situation, we even came out and said it. He was trying to leverage LIV Golf against the PGA Tour. Okay, so when you leverage something, okay, and the way he made it sound was he was leveraging it as a threat that he wasn't going to go through on. Okay, so what was his original intention? To play for the PGA Tour.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
If he's being honest, which we can't. I mean, obviously with nobody we can assume they're totally honest, but we can assume that it was a private conversation.
It was a private conversation. What reason would he have to lie?
He
didn't lie
because he thought this was a friend.
Yeah.
He thought this was somebody he could confide in.
Yeah. So if he's using it as leverage and his original intention is to go to the PGA Tour, and then he loses all his sponsors.
Yeah.
The PGA Tour openly bashes him.
Yep.
Okay. Now what is he to do?
Got one place to go.
The place he originally leveraged.
Yep. He lost all his sponsors.
You force a man into a corner, and he's going to use whatever he can to get out of it.
Yeah. and that was the
That was his out.
escape ladder.
That was his out.
That was his golden parachute.
Mm-hmm.
So
I actually don't blame Phil at all.
I don't
think
either.
Everyone does is an idiot.
I don't either. And the LIV Golf. Here's the thing about LIV. It was a fun event.
Yep.
It looked fun. I like the format. I
don't-
think it's interesting. I wish the players could play both.
Mm-hmm.
I wish the players could play both because I think that is a good thing for golf.
I think it's eminently desirable.
I think so too. I think there are aspects of LIV Golf that were like, wow, this kind of helped this.
Yeah.
You know, like, wow.
I thought the commentary was much more catered to younger viewers.
Absolutely.
I felt like the graphics were much more catered to younger
The
viewers.
commentary on LIV Golf was substantially better than the commentary on RBC.
I didn't watch any of the RBC.
Oh,
so.
I
I watched LIV Golf.
Okay.
Because I wanted
Typical golf broadcasting coverage.
Well, it's not that hard to get better than that, honestly.
Agreed. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
LIV Golf was above and beyond that.
Yeah.
So, and it was kind of funny. You saw bad broadcasting or whatever it's called on Twitter.
Mhm.
They were bashing LIV Golf, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so they got one thing wrong. They used a clip of him getting like a stat wrong or something.
Was it about Sam Horsfield?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did
We
see
talked about
someone talk about how
We talked
they're
about that.
saying that Sam Horsfield's one of the best drivers in the game and his strokes gained and PGA Tour. It's like, first off, he's played 2 PGA Tour events or something like that.
Yeah.
To get his stats, you have to go to the European Tour.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Where he is fairly good.
where he is very good.
Yeah. So
You don't win 3 events on the European Tour. Garbage.
exactly. So
And he is a very good driver of the ball. As someone that has played with him, he's a very
The
good
dude-
driver of the ball.
the dude bombs it.
Yes.
Like, I may hit it as far as him now, but whenever we were playing against each other, he was
Yeah.
flying me
Yeah.
in high school.
And
he was 2 years younger than me.
yeah, in high school, I don't know if I hit it as far as him now as he did when he was 16.
Yeah, you do.
Do
yes,
I?
you do. I don't think you. I think you're kind of looking back at it, kind of.
Because
with
I
rose-colored
knew
glasses.
he could hit it, like, he could get it, like, he could get it out to 320 if he wanted to.
At 16.
Yeah. Maybe not 16. At 18,
320.
At 18, he definitely
300. Yes. 310. Yeah. Maybe.
could. At 18, he definitely could.
Okay. But my point is like now I'm consistently launching it and landing at 300.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Consistently. I've got my ball speed up to like 171, 172.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
I'm about there. I'm a little shorter.
but
than
that's
that,
what I'm judging it off of. And like back then, I couldn't scrape I don't know what 265, 270 carry is, but that's where I was at.
Yeah, me too. Back then.
So,
But
he was launching it by
he
me.
could.
So I would be
bomb.
285 out there, he'd fly me.
Yeah.
So
He's a
anyway,
bomber.
but that's my point. They don't know what they're talking about.
And he hits it straight.
All right, you ready, buddy? We're going to go ahead and go into DraftKings real quick. So everybody, make sure you join our DraftKings league.
Things are heating up in
We've got like
DraftKings.
7 people now, which is awesome.
If you guys wanted to get in, it would have been better to get in last week, so you might as well get in this week.
You
'Cause
might as
Zach
well.
is not going down this week.
Zach is going down.
I've lost twice in a row, and I'm done.
Nah, he ain't done yet.
I'm done.
He ain't done yet.
Wait, I didn't lose. I won last week, didn't I?
No,
I lost the previous week.
I don't know. We have to go back.
You
and
did the
check.
hot chicken wing last week.
I did do the hot chicken.
So I
wing.
won last week.
It went me, you, or me, you, me.
Yeah.
Yes.
For like the first time in forever.
Oh, okay, I don't know about that.
It's
pal.
been a long time
I don't know about
since
that.
I haven't
pal.
won
2 out of 3. Okay. All right, you ready? So we're gonna go ahead with this. I'm gonna go ahead and say my first 3 because they are my low tier. I picked a low tier and a high tier this week because I really believe in the top tier people. So my first one is Ryan Fox. Ryan Fox. He plays on the World Tour. He placed second in the Dutch Open. He went 50. He was 54th in the PGA Championship. Only because of a poor round 4. Really just played bad in the final round. 70, 70, 70 the first 3 rounds. So I really like him for this. He's dealt with the pressure. I think he's going to come back and do well. He plays extremely well on World Tour, though. We're talking T9, T8, T2. The last few events, he makes pretty much every cut he looks at. So I'm almost guaranteeing a cut made here at the U.S. Open. Plus, Data Golf has him as the highest strokes gained advantage on this course that they're playing at the Country Club. So go ahead.
Okay. So, like I talked about, I did a little bit of research this week. So I'm very confident in all my picks. My number one pick, my cheapest pick, Davis Riley. He is exceptional, pretty much in all the stats you need to be exceptional at in order to score well at a U.S. Open. Very cheap as well, $7,300. So, and he's got 5 top 10s this year. He's really good.
Nice. Next, I have Wyndham Clark. He's not great on the cuts made this year. However, he's heating up at exactly the right time. Memorial Tournament, so he went cut at the AT&T and the Charles Schwab. And then go on to the Memorial T37 with not great rounds in round 3, round 4, but pretty good. And then RBC Canadian Open, he T7'd in a pretty top heavy field.
Yeah.
And he played well round 3, round 4, 68-69.
Okay.
To tie for 7th there. So I'm really liking him for this event.
My next pick is a guy who we love here on the pod. It's Taylor Gooch. A guy that surprised me with how well he did in the scoring, or how he did with the stats. He was the 34th in ranking in terms of odds, and he ended up as like a top 10 guy in the statistics and how it breaks down. So when I look at him, I look as a guy who's going to overperform his price at $7,500, and I think Taylor Gooch, you're gonna see top 20 out of him.
Nice. Then I have Adri Arnaeus. So he's
if you've heard any of these names, actually the last one I've heard.
Yeah, he's been playing well. So Adri Arnaeus, he T30 at the PGA Championship. Not a great 4th round. So he shot 73 in the 4th round. Could have been much higher on the list. Then again, that last round was playing harder.
Yeah.
So not surprising. World Tour, he plays extremely well on the World Tour. He's already had a win this year at the Catalunya Championship. So hopefully he kind of brings that with him this week at the Country Club. He's only really had 2 cuts this past year. So 10 for 12, which is good. And I know he plays on the World Tour, but it's something that he T30'd at a really difficult PGA Championship in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay. So my next guy is a guy I'm shocked was this cheap. And that is Mr. Sung J M. 15 to 17 of cuts made. He's got 6 top 10s this year. 10th at the Memorial, 15th at the Charles Schwab, RBC Heritage 21st, finished 8th at the Masters. I mean, guy, he's so consistent. He already has a win this year. If we go all the way back to the Shriners Children's Open, $7,600 for a guy with 6 top 10s, 15 to 17 cuts made, and he is actually another guy who is really good at bogey avoidance and really good around the greens, which is super, super important when you're coming to do U.S. Open at a course like this.
Okay. And then I'm going to pick Tony Finau. Tony Finau is a great pick. He's very low valued, $8,200. He's been really playing well recently. Obviously, he was in that last group in the Canadian Open and at RBC. And he put together a pretty good round. He finished 2nd behind Rory. Shot 17 under for the tournament. And he only had 7 bogeys for the tournament. Charles Schwab, he only had 5. And Charles Schwab, as everybody knows, wasn't playing super easy. So only had 5 bogeys there. So you're talking about bogey avoidance. This might be the guy to do it this week. So go ahead.
So if you're looking at again, we talked about it earlier, the 2 biggest statistics at the U.S. Open at this tournament is strokes gained approach and strokes gained putting. The second best player in the entire field out of these 2 statistics is Sam Burns at $8,300. He has played very well lately, finishing 4th at the RBC, and he's coming off a win at the Charles Schwab very recently as well. I think that was 2 weeks ago. And then he finished 20th at the PGA. This is a guy to be very mindful of coming into this week because he is heating up at exactly the right time.
Okay. I've got Rory McIlroy next. Rory McIlroy obviously just came off a win at the RBC Canadian Open. He's been playing very well in recent months. Masters tournament second, obviously, with that really amazing chip in on the final hole, 18. Wells Fargo 5th, PGA Championship 8th, Memorial Tournament T18. So he's been playing well at difficult events. So I have a feeling that at the Country Club, I don't think it's going to stand a chance against him. I think this might be a congressional for Rory McIlroy this week.
No chance.
Could be. Who knows?
So my next pick is another guy from Ireland, but not from the northern side. We're going to the southern side, and we're going with Shane Lowry. Lowry. So Shane Lowry is, again, another guy. He's in my top 5 guys out of this list. Shane Lowry is 9th on tour in strokes gained approach, 24th on tour in strokes gained putting, and he's number 3 on tour in bogey avoidance. He was one good round away from winning the Masters this year. He finished 3rd. He finished 23rd at the PGA. He's been very consistent in the recent season. He started out the season pretty rough. If you remember, he missed like two cuts to start the season. And everyone's thinking, well, Shane Lowry's taking a big step back. But since then...
Oh, he's been playing well.
Since November, he has not... Oh, no. Yeah, since November, he hasn't missed a cut. And he's finished top 30 in every tournament he's played since.
Yeah, he's also tired of people talking about LIV Golf.
I know. Yeah, I bet he is. He's good friends with Ian Poulter and Lee Westwood.
Yeah.
So, that's not surprising at all. But Shane Lowry, very good. He's got 4 top 10s this year. No wins. Is this the one?
It could be. I hope so.
I love Shane Lowry.
I love Shane Lowry, too.
He's also coming off a top 10 last week. So.
True. So, my next one is, and of course it is, Justin Thomas. He is a great pick.
He is my pick to win, but he's not on my team.
He's the pick, man. So he's just playing statistically just amazing. 15 for 16 cups made. The dude has 10 top. If he doesn't win the FedEx Cup this season, something's wrong. He is 10 top 10s.
FedEx Cup's broken. The playoffs count too much.
I guess. But 10 top 10s? Are you kidding me? He's almost got 100. Is that unheard of? He almost has 100 fantasy points per week.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
If you'd have made every cut,
68.3 average.
If he didn't miss that one cut, he would have.
Oh, I know, dude. Oh, I know.
Which is insane.
Blows my mind.
So my last pick.
Oh, and he placed 3rd at the RBC.
My last pick is the number 2 guy I have. So the number 1 guy I already said was Justin Thomas.
Yeah.
And his stats are insane. The number 2 guy is everyone's favorite Australian, Cam Smith.
I'm here for it.
Now, Cam Smith did not play well at the RBC Canadian Open because he had a very poor round 1 with 0 birdies and 6 bogeys.
Yeah, and that's not typically him.
Then that's not him at all.
Yeah.
But if we look at his statistically, 3rd on tour in strokes gained approach, 11th on tour in putting. That's birdies all day. You look around the green, he's very good, top 25 guy. And then if you look at bogey avoidance, he's a top 35 guy. He's very well set up for this. If you look at the tournaments, if you look at the hardest tournament he's won, you got to look at the players, how tough that course was playing.
Oh yeah.
If that doesn't prepare you for a U.S. Open, I don't know what does. If you look at the PGA Championship, he's T13. So again, a great finish at a major. If you want to go to the Masters, he finished tied for 3rd with our very good friend from Ireland. Shout out to Ireland, Shane Lowry.
Yeah.
This
guy
is poised when he's got 2 already this year. I could see it happening again this week.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much.
Oh wait, I have to pick out a punishment.
Oh yeah, you do.
Okay.
You gotta pay it. Hurry up.
Okay, so.
Hurry up.
No, I can't say if I win.
All right, we gotta wrap this up.
When the loser. Oh, the winner. Here you go. The winner gets to force the loser to do some kind of chore around the house that they don't normally do.
All right.
Does that make sense?
That's for perfect. All right.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate all the support, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.